Welcome to Let's Play Kirby Super Star. This was my first introduction to the Kirby series in general, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen. Kirby Super Star was the first Kirby game I played on Super Nintendo, and it would certainly lead me into playing the other games like Kirby 64, Kirby's Return to Dreamland, and even Kirby Nightmare in Dreamland, believe it or not. This is going to be a full 100% Let's Play, and I plan on getting everything in the game. But without further ado, let's get started. We have a choice between 4 games off the bat right now. This game is 6 games in one, and they are tons of fun. We have Spring Breeze, we have Gourmet Race, we have the Great Cave Offensive, and we have Dynablade. We can't play the other 2 games until we've beaten some of the others, but for now what we're going to do is we are going to play Spring Breeze. Help! All the food from Dreamland has been stolen. Hurry, Kirby, or everyone will starve. And we have a choice between a new game. And the story goes as follows. There's trouble in Dreamland. King Dedede and his soldiers have stolen all the food in Dreamland. Greedy. Here comes our hero Kirby, riding in on the Spring Breeze. Let the adventure begin. And if memory serves right, I believe this is supposed to represent a remake of Kirby on the Game Boy, if I remember correctly. This is your first time playing. If you guys ever want to see the tutorial videos, you're better off looking them up on YouTube. But for now, I'm going to say no. And shall we explain copy? No. I'll probably explain those as time goes by and everything. So without further ado, I think we should just get started. Our first stage is Green Greens. A simple start to the game. Oops, gotta remember my button inputs. Inhale, waddle, D. Waddle, do. And we get the beam ability. I think this was the one Kirby game that introduced the copy abilities into the game, basically. And my first time actually playing this game is a funny, interesting little story. On Christmas one year, I ended up getting a copy of Super Mario World to Yoshi's Island, again. But I had it previously because it was given to me on the previous Christmas. So my aunt and I ended up taking it back. We got our first boss encounter, Poppy Brother Sr. And this guy throws bombs and hops around, basically. But anyway, let me finish with my story. Create a helper and suck in the bomb ability. So now we got bombs. But anyway, my aunt and I had to take the copy of Super Mario World to Yoshi's Island back, and I figured, why not try out Kirby, since it was a game that I was interested in trying after all this time. And to my surprise, I love this game. It's one of the Super Nintendo games I will come back and I will play over and over and over again. But anyway, enough talking. I created a helper earlier, and I'll explain what that does later on when we get to Dynablade, but basically, as you can see, creating a helper allows me to make a second character I can play with. And the helper is very, very helpful when you are playing through the game, basically. He'll serve as a second player, but if you have another controller, then the helper will be controlled by this player too, basically. Our first boss is Whiskey Woods, and he's nothing to laugh about. He's really, really easy. And after taking him out, we grab the little star. Victory dance! Yeah! On to the next stage, which is Float Islands. And we're going to be taking in some swimming on this next part. Really, Kirby? Okay. We got a new enemy, the Knuckle Joe. I'm throwing off my cap ability and giving it to the Waddle Doo, and he becomes Poppy Brother Jr. But yeah, the first time when I played this game, I wasn't exactly sure what to expect, because Kirby's concept was something new for me, and when I started playing, I immediately got into it pretty fast. This little guy can suck up enemies, and he can take their powers, which is really cool, and I thought, this is pretty fun. It was even more fun when I got my sisters involved to playing the game, and they loved it. They love Kirby. Heck, even my niece and my nephews love this game. I even got my niece Beverly to play the game with me one time, and we actually ended up beating the whole thing, the 2-player style. But anyway, I'm not talking much about the abilities and everything. Let me pause. The fighter ability allows you to use the Knuckle Joe ability, and you become a mighty karate expert. Increase your power with practice. You can throw punches, do a Vulcan jab, and do kicks. But anyway, dodge the fireball, grab the invincibility lollipop, and you turn invincible for a little bit, mowing down enemies as you go by. And some bosses can easily be defeated by the super ability. Jump on the warp star, and we warp up to the next area. We're going to the islands over there. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to throw off my Knuckle Joe ability and give it to my helper. And we got a new ability here, Crash. Crash is basically a screen nuke. It will blow all the enemies away in one huge explosion, so gotta be careful of that. Ow. And I'm going to use it on the bosses right here. Fololo and La La La. And all they will do basically is move back and forth and push ice chunks and enemies at you. But a simple use of the Crash ability, and they fall instantly. Or so I thought. Dang it, Knuckle Joe. Oh well, doesn't matter. But anyway, Spring Breeze is probably the easiest game you can play to get started with how to play with Kirby. Another stage completed. Victory pose. And we move on to the next one. Stage 3, Bubbly Clouds. Gesundheit, Kirby. Ow! New ability, Sword Kirby. Nothing to worry about the helper if he falls off the stage or anything like that. He will jump back up by teleporting, basically. So there's nothing to worry about. And when you pick up food items, you can give them to your helper. It looks like they're giving each other a kiss, which is something I always question, like, are they giving each other kisses? Which is what it definitely looks like. Anyway, moving on. We got our mini-boss, Krako, or just regular Krako. I forget. Most of the enemies escape my... Dang, we jumped on the warp star already. Dang. Okay, moving on. It'd be kind of boring if I decide to do this game without any commentary. But, you know... We suck up that enemy and we get the mic copy ability. This is a 3-time use copy ability. And much like the name implies, you use the microphone basically to attack the enemies. And I'm gonna hold off on using that for a while. We jump up here and we're taken to the boss fight. Krako, the electric eyeball cloud. Use the mic one time and we do the megaphone. Then we do microphone. And then finally, my personal favorite. Boom! Rock and roll headbang Kirby. With Krako destroyed, we grab our star. And it's time for another victory dance. And now we move on to the last stage on Spring Breeze, Mount DDD. Time to take the fight to King DDD. I was trying to do a specific trick right there where if you inhale 2 enemies, you get a random roulette at going through all the copy abilities. But for now, we're going to go through and we're going to fight King DDD. We got a full audience to watch the whole thing. One more hit! And King DDD is down. Nice work, Late Night. And King Dedede is sent flying. We use the power of the stars. And Kirby turns into a gigantic balloon. And there's all the food from Dreamland and everything inside of the castle. But basically, that's how Spring Breeze goes. This is the first game that you play, and it's the easiest. Good luck trying to read the credits for this game, because they're gonna zoom by pretty fast. Even though we've beaten Spring Breeze, we are not done with this game. There's still 5 other games left for us to play. But basically, yeah, this is how the game's gonna be. Spring Breeze is pretty much an easy way to practice how to get good at the game and how to get familiarized with the mechanics of Kirby, how to inhale and spit out enemies, and getting used to the copy abilities, which I will do an explanation of in the next part when we tackle Dynablade. But anyway, after warping back to Dreamland, everyone's gonna get their food back. Next! Next up on our list is Dynablade, but I think I'll save that for the next part of our episode. But yeah, Spring Breeze is pretty much the easiest thing you can do on this game to get familiarized with everything. So yeah, next up we are going to tackle Dynablade, but I'll save that for the next episode. Anyway, I know all the tricks and tricks of the trade basically when it comes to Kirby Super Star, because I've had this game for so long. But if you guys are familiar with wanting to know exactly how I do the things I do, then leave a comment in the comment section below. But I'm gonna end the video right here, and I'm gonna take a quick break, and I'll be right back with Dynablade. So I'll see you guys in the next part of Let's Play Kirby Super Star. Until then, keep on gaming, gamers.